Hello everyone, welcome back to another Project Gladiator weekly overlook, and today I'll be covering the weather from September 10th until September 17th. Starting off the jet stream with our radar Omega models. If you take a look at the path that the jet stream is expected to take this week, mainly focusing on Texas, we do have that subtropical jet that is expected to make its way out of the Pacific and kind of stall across Texas, mainly across western Texas. We could see the possibility of some rounds of severe thunderstorms across Texas, mainly across western into central Texas. But then we also have this trough that is expected to dip south out of Canada here, with a cold front attached to it. Some ongoing convection that is situated across Nebraska into Iowa is expected to develop into a cold front and attach itself to this trough that you see dipping out of Canada. This cold front and trough is expected to propagate eastward over the next couple of days, triggering the possibility of some severe potential, but overall we are expected to see mainly just the potential for rainfall across the regions affected by this cold front. And I will show you more on that cold front later with our temperature models. But then if we take a look at Hurricane Lee here, I know that some of you guys may have some questions on Hurricane Lee, and you can see that Hurricane Lee is expected to make a northward turn. As of right now, I don't really have access to too many model frames. However, the current path of Hurricane Lee is expected to look something like this. It is expected to continue eastward and then turn northward as a Cat 3 and then continue to weaken. As I did mention, that cold front and that trough is expected to make its way eastward, and it is expected to introduce some wind shear out into the Atlantic Ocean. And if you don't know, wind shear is a hurricane's kryptonite, so it is going to weaken significantly because of that cold front and trough that makes its way onto the Atlantic Ocean as it continues its trek northward towards the some parts of the New England region. Its path is going to look something like this. As of right now, it is a Cat 3, and then it is expected to strengthen back into a Cat 4, and then weaken back down into Cat 3, and then into a Cat 2 and a Cat 1. I think it is going to stay anywhere from a Cat 1 to a tropical storm as it does begin to get close to the New England region. However, Hurricane Lee may not lead to some direct impacts across the New England region. Its path is going to look something like this. It is expected to come anywhere close to the North Carolina region, but it is expected to possibly make a eastward turn out across the coast of the New England regions. Some of the main places that we could possibly see some impacts for Hurricane Lee is going to be anywhere in this blue circle here, anywhere from Connecticut to Massachusetts, possibly parts of New Hampshire and Maine. However, it is going to be mostly the coastal regions of those few states, as it is expected to stay mostly out to sea and maybe lead to some minor impacts along the coast as either a Cat 1 or tropical storm. Taking a look at our dew points and our instability plume associated with these dew points, you can see that the cold front that is expected to make its way eastward is expected to push a lot of this moisture back out into the Atlantic Ocean. I know I don't really have all that many frames available to me, but trust me on this, this cold front is expected to push a ton of this moisture, if not a good majority of this moisture, out into the Atlantic Ocean, leading to a large decrease in humidity across the Ohio Valley into the New England region and eastern United States. However, anywhere above this line is going to remain relatively unaffected, so the region where we are expected to see that a subtropical jet stall across Texas, that is going to have a lot of moisture pulled in from the Gulf of Mexico, which will allow for instability to build across Texas, leading to fuel for rounds of convection across Texas. And then if we focus on Texas, as I did mention, the rounds of storms that is expected to be across Texas, that isn't going to mean anything entirely bad. In fact, we did have some storms across Texas yesterday, which did weaken our temperature plume and our temperatures that were going to be in 100 and above. They did cool down significantly, and we are expected to see some temperatures that could still reach 100 and above across southern Texas. However, we are expected to see a major decrease in temperatures that are going to be extremely hot with the rounds of storms that we are expected to see across Texas. If I do run it as far as I can, this is at nighttime. We are expected to see a major decrease in nighttime temperatures across Texas because of the storms and the rounds of convection across Texas. We are expected to see nighttime temperatures that are going to be getting as low as the 60s and 70s and possibly the 80s across some regions that aren't really going to be affected by the thunderstorms. However, during the day, we could see temperatures that could reach the 70s and the 80s across the bullseye for thunderstorms across western Texas. But you can notice that we don't really have anywhere that we are seeing temperatures of 100 and above. Any of those maroon colors that you did see, we're going to mean temperatures of 100 and above. However, you can see that we have much more 90-degree temperatures across the vast majority of eastern Texas and southern Texas. So we are expected to see major cooling across Texas with these thunderstorms. That's all I really had to cover as far as weather for this week. So, now that I've told you the weather, please go down to the description and check out the socials for Project Gladiator and join the Discord for any updates on Project Gladiator. If you live in any of the areas that I covered for weather for this week, please stay weather alert for the time being, and hopefully I will be able to see you guys tomorrow with another forecast.